Yo, what's up YouTube? Lord of all Swine here. Just here with the Narmaya guide. I've been working on it for a few days. This video is going to be a little bit longer than the normal guides. I wanted to really cover every aspect of Narmaya that I've learned in the time I've been playing. I've been playing it now for like probably about 2-3 weeks. So I've learned quite a bit in that time. How would I describe Narmaya? I'd say that Narmaya is a well-rounded, versatile character. She's a stance character. She has two separate stances. She has her standard stance, which you start the round in, which is called DawnFly. This stance is probably more of a defensive style stance, a neutral base. And then she's got FreeFlutter, which is this one here. This one's probably more based around pressure and offense and keeping on the opponent. So the idea with Narmaya is you want to kind of mix between the stances on the fly to kind of achieve whatever the best is in the scenario that is presented towards you. She is good in almost every situation, I feel. She has a tool for any situation that may come up. So once you kind of like get used to her, she can be very deadly, very threatening. I think she is worth the effort. I think she is a very, very strong character. But she's not one of those characters you can just pick up straight away. I think she might be one of the harder characters in the game to fully exploit and be able to use online and stuff like that. But I think she's also very rewarding. So with that being said, I will go through the stances and then I'll go through her normals. I'll go through the specials, anything you can kind of do with all that stuff, and I'll then go through like a general game plan, like weaknesses maybe, and then I'll do some combos to kind of finish it off, and then that's where we'll go. Before we go over the stance, we need to learn how to change through our stances, and we do that with the U button, and it's literally just tap it and it changes. There is a cooldown in the neutral to this, so it's -10, but you don't have to accept it. You can cancel into your moves. There is no like strict limit, so that is it's perfectly fine to kind of do in the neutral. So you could literally just do that and go straight into your anti-air if someone tries to jump into you, for example. But also you can change through like box strings and combos, and in fact you need to learn how to do this on the fly to perfect the character. So you won't be able to. You have to get used to changing, and I'll show you an example on a combo now, which utilizes two changes to maximize her damage in the corner. So yeah, by mixing between the stance in the combo, we're able to take about 50%. Obviously, this is the best case example. But you won't be able to do that if you don't know how to swap between moves and stuff like that. So I find the best time for her to swap between moves is during special moves. That's where you have the most amount of time, and it's just easy to press the unique button while you're doing it. When you're doing it during triple attack, it's a little bit harder, so you can do it and then you end up blocking. It's not impossible. You can go into the move like that, but to note, when you're in, when you start in, say, the first one, which is DawnFly, and if you like change, it stays. It swaps stances, but it will stay in the stance you were in the block string. So I started in FreeFlutter, and then I still was doing a move from FreeFlutter rather than, DawnFly instead of FreeFlutter, and the same will apply here if I swap back. So I'm back in DawnFly, but I am still using, but I used a FreeFlutter move. So there's something to bear in mind there. So you won't, like if you want to go from FreeFlutter triple into a FreeFlutter move, it won't come out. You'll get the DawnFly move. So but you will be able to change the stance, which is ultimately what you want to do. But during combos, that's usually when you want to be able to change it, like free flow. One thing I also need to note is while you are in the air, you have to double tap the move. You won't be able to do it with one because the air has specific moves attributed to it. So here you have a different one completely. So you have to double tap. So if you're in the move and in the air and you want to jump back, and then you want to end up in a different stance, that's something to bear in mind with the unique button. Also, it's worth noting the times where you also can't change it will be during raging strikes. You can't change it no matter what, and it's raging chains as well, so if you go for a follow-up, you have to change it. You can change it when you're on the ground. Oh, and obviously that applies to supers as well. Now I'm pressing the button. There's absolutely no way to change it because you're stuck in an animation. You can change it during throws, however, or just after the throw, which is a really good skill to kind of do. So, yeah. That's the unique attack. It is you have to learn this to perfect Narmaya, so there's no way around it. It's even in pressure, when I get to the pressure sequence, you'll literally be having to flip between the stance, like on the fly, and it becomes much easier once you stick with it. It's not as hard as it kind of sounds. It is just a continuation of using it, and you'll get there. Okay, right, we'll go over the first stance, which is called DawnFly. DawnFly is the stance you start the match in, so you have to tailor your early game plan around that. But it's fine because it's the exact part of the map where you are on the screen where you want to be in DawnFly. DawnFly is all about neutral, and it's all about being more defensive, keeping the opponent out, or trying to push them towards the corner. That is what DawnFly is all about, and she has many different moves to achieve this. Obviously, she has the spammable projectile move, which is probably one of her best check moves in the game and stuff like that. It's really good at interrupting people throwing fireballs at her if you're at the right distance. She also has a good way to then transition into FreeFlutter from this, which is with her dash move. So if you do her dash move and then go into any of her FreeFlutter inputs, so for example, I'm just going to do the dash into the cartwheel, like that, and then she goes into FreeFlutter. And then one thing you can kind of do, which is kind of interesting, you can go into FreeFlutter and then back into DawnFly on the fly. No pun intended. And that's just an example of using the stance switching during a special move to go back and forth, really. So you can use that to go up, trick them, and then that isn't plus that version, but that's just an example of you double switching through stances in neutral. But you get that from the DawnFly stance. The DawnFly stance is around neutral and spacing and footsies. Okay, and then FreeFlutter, which is, I'm just going to say it's like a pressure stance. This is the stance you want to use when you're right in the face of the opponent. She has numerous ways of staying plus. I'll show you a few of them now. So, when you're right close, the light attack is 4 frames. So that's one way of staying plus. She has a 2M, which is +1. She has the cartwheel EX, which is +1. But if you hold it and change the trajectory, she goes over their head. This isn't an overhead, but it can cross at the opponent if they're not paying attention, and it becomes +4. She also has one of the best ways of dealing with projectiles in the game. So if you see anyone throwing a projectile and you do the ultimate FreeFlutter cartwheel, it's just a tracking plus frame move, which can then chain into her light combo. And she also got one of the better anti-air baits in the game as well, which can also cross up. And then this move is also plus. So she has numerous ways to keep herself plus in this stance. Just talking about DawnFly, she's only got one way to make herself other than universal, which is this version. This is the only way that she can stay plus. Oh, sorry, there is the medium version of this move as well, but it's a little bit slower. You don't want to do it in their face because you'll just get kicked in the face. It'd probably be something you kind of use around here to try and frame trap somebody. But yeah, that's why FreeFlutter is the pressure one. So it's very easy to kind of keep on the opponent, and it's very hard for the opponent to get rid of Narmaya once they're in your face. This is where she excels. Like your whole game plan is to move them in and then basically be here and get into FreeFlutter so that you can just mix them up and stuff like that. So that is FreeFlutter. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to go over with her normals is her DawnFly stance. She has 2 stances and she has a lot of moves. So I'm going to break it into 2 sections, and I'll do it with the special moves as well. So starting with DawnFly. DawnFly is obviously more of a neutral based stance. So a lot of the normals tend to be a little bit further reaching. This is her far medium and her far H. But you go into FreeFlutter, they're considerably worse. Or slower, the different speeds and stuff. This move is much faster than this move, for example. So that goes to the same for her lights. So she's quite unique in the sense that in DawnFly she's very bad at mashing out of pressure, because everything comes out in 6 frames, where traditionally a lot of moves come out in 5 frames. And that goes for obviously a medium attack as well. She does have a DP in this stance as well, so that makes up for it in that sense. But mashing out on pressure can be a little bit trickier with Narmaya in DawnFly. But ideally, you don't want to be in this stance in their face. You want to kind of be around here. This is the range you kind of want to play. Anyway, starting off with Close L, we'll just go from the top. Close L and her other one, FreeFlutter, I'll just mention, they're probably the best light attacks in the entire game, considering how much like utility you can go, and their advantageous benefits. So for example, this one is +3 no matter what. She doesn't have a far light or a close light, she just has a light. Like, that is one unique thing to her. And because of this, at furthest range, she can then connect into a triple attack. Whereas characters like Jita, they've only got this, and then they can only go into that. There's no like, there's no added benefit for it. But Narmaya doesn't have that issue, she can do that. This is why it's really useful after 6XL. So she can connect into her triple attack from further ranges, whereas other characters can't, they have to go into a medium. But Narmaya doesn't have to, which is a really nice benefit for her to have. Obviously also to the fact it's +3, it's a little bit worse on than other close lights. Close Jita here is +4. However, considering it has farther range and you can go into it at any point, it is a lot better. It's very good after, like I say, very good after 6XL. You can do this chain. You're considerably plus from a further distance, so it's harder for the opponent to mash out. When you get into FreeFlutter, it's even worse for the opponent. So that kind of covers the light attack that she has. Like I said, very good move. It's it probably is the best in the game. I'd say the FreeFlutter one is better, but I'll get into that in a bit. Okay, so her crouching light attack in DawnFly. It's nothing special. You can chain. It's -2. It's a little bit stubby, so you're not really going to space the opponent out with it. But it's probably better to do this sequence. Go from 2L into 5L, because that way you just get plus. And you can go and do stuff like that. So not much more to say about it, to be honest. Close M, this move is quite unique in this stance particularly. It's not like anything special compared to like other 2Ms in the game. However, because Narmaya's close light and her crouching light are both 6 frames, and this is also 6 frames, it makes this button specifically her best move for mashing out of pressure with. Because it has a higher attack level, you can get into stuff like this, less likely to frame trap with certain moves. By having a high attack level. Also, if it lands, you get more damage. So if you're in this stance, you should really be trying to mash out with her close medium rather than her close light or close crown. You can do it, but it is just much better to do this. So that is one really unique benefit about that move. Right, her crouching medium, it has very nice range. It's not a low hitting attack, which is strange because it looks like it is, but it isn't. This move's really good for like kind of catching like low hitting moves. So you could like, if they're trying to whiff punish an opponent, this is the move you should try and do. If they're doing like a, say Jita does her like low move like this, her 2M. This would be the move you kind of want to use to counter poke that. But as a whole in this stance, it's basically just footsie based. Her FreeFlutter version is much better. Okay, and then you got her close H. This is mostly just a combo filler, but it's also your best punish button. Say if your opponent does a DP, this is the one you kind of want to go into. You don't want to like leave it in this though, because it's -7, so you want to like cancel into say even the second attack, triple attack, or you can like just literally go into a special move, preferably this one because it's plus. So yeah, this is it, but mostly just combo filler, and it's really good for wake up as well, I find, because it's double hitting, it's very active. And then you got her far H. This move is pretty decent at whiff punishing. It's got a really nice hitbox. It's the furthest reaching normal I think she has. in this stance. I might be wrong. Yeah. So it's yeah, it's just a standard whiff punish button, I'd say. The range you're going to be using it, you should always be safe. You can obviously cancel it into the projectile if you want, but that is just that. Then you got her anti-air, very typical. Got a nice hitbox. It's pretty good at like sniping people. Yeah, it's very good at hitting from behind. It's not as good as her FreeFlutter version, but it's serviceable. Because Narmaya, I don't think Narmaya gets a huge amount of damage from her anti-airs, unless she's in the corner, unlike other characters. So you should probably try and prioritize using the DP personally, I think. That's what I do. But it's still nice to kind of get stuff like that. There is stuff you can do off it. Alright, U is pretty decent. It's got a nice range. It's mostly good for like catching people that are like walking back though, and you can go into this. It's, like I say, it's better in the corner. You can get a full combo off this move and stuff like that. So the fact it hits low is quite nice. Like Narmaya doesn't have too many lows in this stance. She only has 3. Obviously she has the 6/6 she has this and she has this. But she doesn't have a crouch mid. So this is nice to have a low that reaches so far. Obviously you don't want to like leave it. You want to cancel it out because otherwise you'll get blown up for doing it. Alright, so jumping normals. This move is like all the other light attacks in the game. That's just falling till is active till you land on the ground, so that's quite nice. I kind of do it as like a quick air poke, really, I guess. But I don't really tend to... I tend to keep Narmaya on the ground. I think she's much better on the ground than she is in the air. She's only got 1 air special, and it's not even in DawnFly. So it's if you're going to be in the air... I'd say you want to prioritize being in FreeFlutter. FreeFlutter in the air is much better because you can like go into moves like that and bait anti-airs. But yeah, this move's okay. It's not terrible. This move's probably her best jump in and cross up. You can use her for H. Her jumping H as a jump in, but I tend to use this because you can also use it as a cross up. If I can try and show that quickly. Yeah, so you can use it as a cross up. It's +7 on, or +6 at best. If you're more deep, it goes +7. I think that this is, you're best just to focus on this move over doing this one. Literally just because, like, you don't have to change up your thought process a little bit. Like, oh, okay, I know that this move crosses up, and I know this move is my jump in, and it does the same thing. This, however, I would use it more as like an anti-air. If you do take Narmaya to the air and you want to go out, she has this one. It's pretty decent. Like I said, you can't really get too much, like unless you land in and continue the combo on the ground. But then you got this one. This is the best air to air she has in this stance, so it's better than this. Obviously, you don't want to double tap because you'll end up changing stances unless that's what you want. But it's better to like kind of use it at this like distance. But like I keep saying, like I just think Narmaya is so much better on the ground. You should really be focusing on ground-based play rather than air play, because I just think she's much like sometimes go up and snipe an enemy, or use this to jump in, or use this to cross up. But I would ultimately wouldn't worry too much about Narmaya's air game because it's not like where she shines. She shines on the ground. Alright, so now we're going to get into FreeFlutter. FreeFlutter is her pressure stance. You don't really want to be in FreeFlutter when you're in the neutral. You want to basically be up in their face when you use FreeFlutter. There are some applications you can use FreeFlutter, like full screen, but they are tied to meter, so most of the time you're going to want to literally be in their face when you use it. But I'll go through the normals. I'm going to start with the light, like I did with the DawnFly. So basically, the difference between this one and the DawnFly variant is this has 2 different plus variants. So at the closest range, it's +4, like all of, well, most of the close lights in the game. When you're like at the furthest distance it can reach, it's +5. And most of the time, you can space this out, and you can get about 2 hits. Which is amazing, so you can just go +4, +5, +4, +5. So that's really good. Now this is incredibly good with 6/6L. I think she's probably got some of the best 6/6L pressure in the game, based in FreeFlutter. So you go here, and you're +2, and you're at the perfect distance, you're +5. And then you go back into the 6/6L, then back in here, you're +5 again. And you can just keep looping this. Obviously they can DP, and there's stuff they can do, and the timing's a little bit strict. But this is one of the reasons why I think this is the best 5L in the entire game. because of how much like stagger pressure you can do. Now, what makes her even better is you can also do this move here, which is her 2M, which is +1. So you can like mix. It's not a low hitting move, by all means, but the fact it's +1 means you can frame trap it. So similar to how Gran can do it, and I think Bilal also has a +2 2M. So you can kind of do a sequence like this, and then you can just go back in, and you can kind of just keep looping that, and you'll just like continuously plus throughout that entire sequence. So you can go da 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 da, and yeah. So that's just off her based off her like her close, or just her light attack. Also, it has the same property of the other one. From the furthest distance, it's even +5 distance. It can still do a full attack, triple attack. You don't technically want to do it. You want to stagger this move a lot. Like that's what you should really be doing with it. So yeah. Also, I think it has a bit more range. Yeah, it does. It definitely has more range. So yeah, this move is I love using it. It's fun to use as well, which is the main thing. So yeah, that covers the 5L. This, use and abuse, mix up between this. Right. So her close medium. This one's 6 frames again. It's different from the other one because in DawnFly she's -2, but in this FreeFlutter she is 0 on block. So it's a little bit better to stagger. Obviously, because this is so oppressive, you don't really need to worry about it much, but it's something worth mentioning. It is 0 on block, so it's a little bit better in the sense of pressure for staggers and stuff. But other than that, it is just a standard combo string star. Okay, just going to a close heavy. This move's amazing. It's -2, so it's a bit slower than the one in DawnFly by a frame, but it's just such a fun move. Like just the visceral hit from it is really cool. You can get a lot of damage out of comboing this move, but yeah, it is also good for staggers because it's 2. So you can reset your pressure. So maybe you want to go like this into I don't know, maybe like into this, which is plus, or so that would like bait someone trying to throw, for example, or maybe they're trying to stick out a button. So there's something worth mentioning, but it's just a nice attack. It has a fairly decent activation range as well. You don't have to like be like right in their face, like where this one here. It's fairly decent as well, to be fair. Oh god, it is actually a lot more decent than I realised. But anyway, yeah, so it's got a good activation range as well. So it's good for so also your punish button, similar to the one in DawnFly. Alright, so I get into this quickly. This one is better than the one in DawnFly because it's it's much faster. The chain's better. Obviously, you do still want to do the same sequence that you were doing in DawnFly. You don't want to like go whatever because it's -2 still. It is low hitting, which is nice. Again, like Narmaya doesn't have a plethora of lows like the other. Even this isn't a low, so it's literally just this, and then 6XM. Still, so there's nothing has changed there. But yeah, it's nice, more mashable than the other one. The other one can chain, but like frame trap, but this one is just much better. So yeah, again, easier for them to jump low. Other than that, it is just a 2M. Now this 2M, this is I was mentioning it earlier. This is 7 frames, so this is amazing. It has not got the best range, but its plus on block properties make it a lot better. You can frame trap with this move and get amazing damage, especially if you're near the corner. Narmaya struggles a little bit in the mid-screen for combo damage and stuff like that. A lot of the time she's trying to push you towards the corner. So having a move that can like basically cut the opponent up is quite nice. So if I show you an example, you go like this, just for... If I was closer to the corner, that would have been a fairly decent reward on hit. Even in the corner, don't even need to do. Yeah. So yeah, it's mainly mixed in with like the rest of her pressure and stuff. Obviously, you don't have to commit to this. You don't have to do that. You can go like this and then go into the 5L. So you can kind of just mix between them and stuff, but it is a really good button to have. It's one of the best 2Ms in the game as well. I don't think it is the best, but whatever. It's still, for her pressure, it is absolutely amazing. Alright, 5H. It's a fast it's a fast move. It's pretty easy for like hit confirms and stuff. You can kind of push your opponent to the corner with it. It is basically just a whiff punish tool again, kind of like the other one, but it's a little bit quicker at doing it. Now for a 2H, I'll just show a quick combo example. This move is really good in this stance. This one's still decent, but it has like a decent hitbox, but this one absolutely, it's like a massive shield to the sky. But in the corner you can get quite decent damage off of it. So you can go like straight into super like that. As you can see, like if the opponent even goes right behind you, you can still pull them in and stuff. Sometimes it does that, like it does a side swap. But like luckily the game will turn you around if that happens, which is quite nice. But yeah, no, this move is really good for like stopping people getting out of the corner. Narmaya's anti-airs are a bit sus, especially in this like stance and stuff like that. They kind of don't go as high as like say Vera's, for example. That one's got an okay angle it covers. It's the same sort of thing with these ones in the other stance, which I'll get into the DPs when I get to them. But they're not the best DPs in the game, but having this is like very bloody nice. It's very active. Obviously don't whiff it. So yeah, no, her 2H in FreeFlutter, that is their kind of, and even in the mid screen you can kind of get like really nice damage off of it. If you're not me, if you're like actually a good player in the game, then you can do this every time consistently. You can just take him straight to the corner, hit the combo limit, and then you can switch into your other stance if you like. So yeah, 2H is absolutely amazing. Okay, her sweep in this stance is a low, which is quite nice. It's actually more minus than the other one. Not that an extra frame really makes much of a difference, to be honest with you. Like, you should always be cancelling this into something, whether it's this into a cartwheel, for example. But yeah, it's just got less range than this one, and it's just a bit faster. So yeah, there's nothing really notable about it. Alright, so I'm going to go into her air normals now. It's a little bit better in this stance because she has the air cartwheel, so you can kind of get a bit of a follow-up off air interactions. So for example, send them full screen, so you're not the best place for Narmaya to be. But you can change there once you do. If you're in the corner, you can get a follow-up. And this one tends to have the combo limit kind of cuts out quickly, so I think it's best to just go straight into a super if you can. You get pretty nice damage, especially if you do it into the ultimate super. You can do this one as well. The damage is still quite nice, especially off of like a move that you don't tend to use this move too much. But so you should always be cancelling into this in the air. Obviously, that like I said, they have different trajectory points. So this one sends her full screen. This one's you don't go flying back because this one sends you flying back. But I think it depends really what you kind of want to do. Say if you're like near the end of your like health bar and stuff, you might want to like get some space and then go into DawnFly. But or this one you want to try pressure run in. But yeah, but I'll get into that more when we get to the cartwheel sort of section of the guide. But yeah, so her normals in this stance are a little bit better. This one's just a nice quick jump poke. Not much else. This is this one here. It's similar to the one in DawnFly. It's your main jump in, and it's also your main cross up button. Like, you shouldn't really need to think too much about what you're doing. You know, oh, this crosses up. This is my jump in. That's the medium version. Obviously, you can do this, but I would just advise doing that. It's up to you though. It's really whatever you prefer to do. This one's interesting. This is like kind of like a rising move. You can kind of like, it's just better at catching opponents when you go up. So it's probably the best rising move she has. So you got your jump in, your cross up, or your deep jump in, which is your H, or you can come up and do that. So they're mainly her jump attacks. They're not not super special. Like I keep saying, you should aim to keep Narmaya on the ground. I think Narmaya is better suited as a grounded sort of fighter, and then every now and then meet them in the air. Alright, so next we're going to her 6-6 series. Just going to start with 6-6L. It is exactly the same as in both. There is no real changes here. It's a very standard 6-6L. It goes really far. It's very fast like all the others. I don't think it's the best in the game by any means, but I do think that it's a 6-6L, and it's just you know all about 6-6L. Just abuse the shit out of this move. This move is ridiculous, so just use it. There's not much more to say about this. Okay, this is probably her 6-6M. This is her best reaching low. Like, let's say this one and this is the other one. It's pretty good, but this is the one you kind of always want to kind of go for. It's quite nice. It's -8, but if you space it out, no one's punishing you for this. -6 at full thing. I mean, -5. So I don't think I can make it any better than that. But anyway, this is her best low attack. This great for harassing the opponent. That is like trying to you know, like keep their distance, maybe they're firing projectiles. It's very quick, comes out in about 12 frames at max distance, even at close distance. So yeah, this is yeah, it's fairly decent. Yeah, I would use this. It's very, very good after DPs, like that. So it's like quite a nice way. Obviously, if you run and do it right in their face, you're going to get punished. But no, if the opponent starts to block it, then do it less. But it is quite a nice thing to trip them up when they land. Alright, then we'll go into DawnFly's 6-6H. Now these moves are completely different from each other. These are the only variants she has when it comes to her 6-6 series. So we got the one in DawnFly. This is kind of like a low crush. It does low crush some things. It does low crush some things, but it isn't like, you know, there's a lot of moves that will still hit it, so if it hits, you can get quite nice damage. But I don't tend to use it a hell of a lot. It is safe on block, however, so that is something to note. Could be something to kind of do from a distance. Maybe they're spacing out their lows. At the farthest distance, you're likely to catch them. And then we go to the one in FreeFlutter. This one, on the other hand, isn't safe. It's -8. This is like the kind of move you kind of want to go for, like if you want to get like max damage. Like say someone does something, like Belial does his counter and he's walking across the screen and then you just wait for him to shrug his shoulders. This would be the move I'd suggest going for. So like the damage is fairly respectable. So you get like fairly decent damage off of it mid-screen as well. So yeah, it's kind of just like your punish tool for like really unsafe things. But again, you don't want to be doing it in the neutral or whiffing into people and stuff like that, because you're likely to get blown up for it. It's like incredibly easy to whiff punish as well. So, but yeah, they're the 6-6 series. There's not too much to really speak about. Like I said, 6-6L, abuse it. 6-6M, try get it when they're like trying to land. It's very good at that. And then use 6-6H every now and then. Maybe if I continue playing Narmaya, maybe I'll have a better use for it in the future. But right now they are just fairly okay. Alright, so her special moves, I will do exactly what I did for the normals. I will just break them down into 2 different compartments. So this will be her DawnFly one. This is the one you start the game with. So let's just go over the I say the one that you're really going to be generally basing your game plan around, and that is this move here, her projectile move. Basically, this is the move you're going to want to use as much as you can. Now, it isn't without weakness. It is incredibly weird. Like an opponent can literally bait this and jump over. I have been punished when I didn't even think it was possible to be punished. So this, use it, but remember, you will die if they jump over your head. So make sure you know, don't spam. Do 1, 2, wait maybe, anti-air if they jump. That is the start of the game plan you kind of want to use with Narmaya. I'll go into the game plan after all this and put it all together, but this is what you do. You kind of want to walk back and forward around here. This is how I start the matches a lot of the time. You kind of want to wait and then do it. It's very quick. Like I say, it's very good at stopping projectiles. So like that. Vegeta wants to do a projectile. You see it coming. You're waiting. It also negates projectiles, which is another thing I was going to add before that, but it kind of worked out quite well. This is quite a nice feature for the move to have. So it won't negate enhance. The only way you can negate enhance is by doing the ultimate. Obviously in that version you can go completely through everything. Not even your enhanced version can beat it, unfortunately. There might be some certain projectiles in the game it can, but it's just simply not good enough for it. Like it doesn't take that many hits, but it does take the standard version, so it's quite nice. So if you see someone going to do it, just wipe them out. It's quite nice. It's quite a nice way to kind of stop an opponent who's like projectile heavy, but be aware of like your distance and stuff. Like if you whiff and stuff like that, then you're going to get absolutely destroyed. But yeah, so that's the light version. The medium version, it has its uses. It's kind of like, if you want to mix up your timing, really. I honestly wish they allow her to hold it and charge it, and then release when she wants, and then different plus frames would be attributed to it then, because I feel like that would be a better mind game, because you are literally just stuck in this animation. You can't leave it. It's you have to wait for Narmaya to leave the animation. See, it's plus 10. But the distance you are, plus 10, isn't necessarily, like, great, if I'm going to be 100% honest with you. So you can do that, and then go into your dash, but you're still going to be, like, punishable. So it's not... Maybe that was the intended use? I'm not too sure. But what you can do is this. If you go from medium to light, you can frame trap. And in the corner, this is the same with the enhanced version. But, that's all you're getting. You're not really getting much else. It's just for spam more than anything. Just like a nice way to spam. But, yeah, the medium version is like... Sometimes, I guess, you can try pull it off in their face. And then, obviously, you are plus after that. So, like... but I'm gonna be honest, the likelihood is you'll do it, you'll just get booted in the face. So very odd move, but my suggestion would be mix it between the light version full screen. Okay, so the enhanced version, it's one of the two ways that Narmaya can stay plus with special moves in DawnFly. She has this version which is plus 2, and she has the other which is plus 4. So that is a good option for her to try. You kind of want to do this here, and then you can only really get into this, into far M, sorry. Like, it's not going to, you can't really run up in 6XL. You can try, but you're likely to get hit in the face for doing it. I generally think in this stance you shouldn't really be wasting this move in the neutral. When you're in the corner, it's a different story, and there are some instances where you can kind of come back into DawnFly from FreeFlutter and then utilize it. However, I think it's better just to save it with this. Like, use these two versions of the move. So, really good. Very quick. I think it's the quickest version. No, it's not the ultimate version, it's the quickest. But it's the quickest standard one that doesn't cost meter and stuff. But it's great in combos. Combos is where it shines. But in the neutral, I would tend to focus on just trying to push the opponent back with these moves, rather than actually wasting it, because then you've got to wait for the long cooldown. See, it doesn't take forever to come back, it's like 4 seconds maybe, but this comes back absolutely instantly. You can just spam the hell out of it. And obviously the medium version comes back like very bloody quick. It even comes back quicker than the light. Right, enhanced ultimate version plus. So this one is similar sort of situation with the other one though. And this time you can do 6XL, like you're more likely to be able to get it off. This one's really great for combos though. If you're close to the corner, you can kind of get a much better punish and stuff. And if you used it at the closest distance, if you've used it as the closest distance, obviously you can take advantage of Narmaya's chaining abilities. So you don't have to like do any of the bigger moves and stuff like that. So yeah, it's nice to use every now and then. It's better in the corner though, obviously, like most things. But yeah, that's that version of the move. It does completely shut down projectiles though. It's quite nice. Like I was showing earlier, it will just eat through absolutely everything. Hey, right, DP. The DP in this stance is invincible, whereas in FreeFlutter it isn't. I'll get into the FreeFlutter version when we get there. So, standard version, you know, I don't ever really use this, to be honest. It's used in some combos, which I don't ever do. I stick to, like, one combo in the corner, which does stupid damage, so I don't feel like the need to ever use this. But it does, you can use it in some combos, but it hasn't got air unblockable properties, so it's very overshadowed by others and it isn't invincible. You got the medium version, goes a bit higher. This is the one I would say you should use when you're waking up off the ground and stuff. Obviously, you can use that version, it goes a bit higher. It's the higher arc jumps, but for a DP, it's nice she has a meatless reversal. It isn't the best in the game, obviously, by any means, but it's nice to have. It's an okay angle. And then you got the EX version, which just goes further. But yeah, that's it for those DPs. But then you got the ultimate one. Nothing super special about this. Just gives you a hard knockdown, and you use the. I just use this. If you've used the standard DP, I would just use that because if you're in trouble. Yeah, they're the DPs. There's not much to talk about them other than the fact that when you do them, like I was saying earlier, you kind of want to like use your 6-6M sometimes to sweep and grab the feet. That way you do get a down, whereas like this DP doesn't give a down, whereas the ultimate version does give a down. You get the hard knockdown. Right, and the final move in the stance I'm going to cover is her dash. Now, I'm going to be 100% honest with you. Outside of combos, this move is a bit lackluster. It's very punishable. Minus 39 in her face. And there's one, the medium version crosses up. It's minus 57. Honestly, like, and it's not invincible. Like, it looks like it might be, but it isn't invincible. And neither is this version. This version is just the fastest, but I think that's an absolute waste using this outside of combos. However, the ultimate version is much better. It's very bloody quick. This move is amazing at dealing with projectiles, and it does have invincibility. So whereas the others do not have invincibility, like you get absolutely stuffed by it. But this one does. And it's fairly generous invincibility as well. So this is one of her ways of dealing with projectiles in DawnFly. Say you are full screen and you've been pushed out for whatever reason. Some characters give her a harder time. You can just go behind her. And the invincibility is fairly decent, and you get like nice reward. One thing you can do with these teleport moves, you can then cancel them into FreeFlutter. And you can cancel them into absolutely everything. So you can get this left-right game going, for example. And if the opponent isn't using the block button, then this is quite good. And obviously if you're in the corner, you can get fairly decent return on it. But like I say, this is like very bloody slow. Like mine, like 44 frames. Like yeah, I wouldn't even use the ultimate version in the corner if I'm 100% honest with you. Like even though it's 25 frames, it's much faster. You can be knocked out of it at that point. Maybe sometimes the opponent expects it, but like pressure sometimes you can literally go into. You can do this as like a reset, I guess. But like you're wasting like fairly decent like EX moves or whatever just to literally get a few extra hits. Outside of the corner, it's fairly useless. So back into the corner, you can probably do this, and that would be kind of an effective strategy. So you get the hit, you go around, oh wait, you haven't got me, and then you can combo with it. But yeah, the dashes are They're not the best dashes in the game, but their utility kind of works better for moving from DawnFly into FreeFlutter. That's kind of where their main use at. So for example, you can actually do this. It's a bit tricky to pull off, but you can like cancel into any single one of her moves. So that's a pretty nice thing you can do. And then this is what you kind of want to use to get out of DawnFly into FreeFlutter. At the end of each combo, you kind of do want to like focus on getting into FreeFlutter, so you can start pressuring more. So you're plus 30, that's just after like a standard DP, so you can start pressuring the opponent like really well. And the way you kind of do that, you can literally do it into anything. So you can go full screen and then go into cartwheel. So the way you do that is you literally just do the move, and then when you are in the dash, you just do the other move from FreeFlutter. So this can be a little bit tricky to kind of get used to, but like over time you'll get a bit better and stuff like that. So you can go full screen and like fly into them and stuff like that. So that's the way you transition into FreeFlutter. And I'll get into like the pressure sequence, what you kind of want to do, but like this is her kind of like her DawnFly ender, if you like. This is the one you want to end your combos in and stuff like that, or you can even start combos and stuff and go into that. But that's kind of like ideally what you want to be doing with the dashes. Alright, so her moves in FreeFlutter. These ones have a little bit different. They're more offense based, where the others are like a bit more you know, neutral based, I guess you could say. Okay, so we go through the first one. This is like a series of lariats, which is like the light version goes. Okay, so now for FreeFlutter, this is obviously her pressure stance. So a lot of these moves are like more like in your face kind of stuff. She has this lariat style move, which the light version does like a little lunge. This is quite good for like jump scaring people. Like maybe if they're sticking out a button, you can just like do. You don't get much off it. But if you really want to hard commit, you gotta go into this version, and if you're near the corner, then you get a wall bounce. But to remember, this is -5, so you really don't want to like be in your opponent's face when you've done this, because you'll get punished. So this move, you kind of really don't want to end in it if you know the opponent isn't going to you know, press anything, you know, or try space it out. They should be like your two options. The second version, which is the medium version, goes further forward. This is the one you kind of want to do for mid-screen hit confirms. You don't really want to be using this on a block string either, because you're obviously a -8. You can get a fairly decent punish if they've got a quick enough button out that isn't a light attack. So it's mainly is just for like mid-screen hit confirms, trying to push your opponent towards the corner and stuff like that. If you do like something like this, for example, you're like +29, and you've pushed them quite far back. So that's kind of that one. And the heavy version is 3 hits. This is the one you want to use in combos, or you know, if you want to like take a risk and jump scare somebody. Marvelous. But like the medium version, this is -8. It does push you out a little bit, whereas the other one doesn't. The other one leaves you right in their face. So this version, you know, you tend to be okay, but you know, some characters, if someone is on point, they can 6XL from that point, and some people even have like 8 frame. But mine's got a 7 frame here in FreeFlutter, so she could punish it from that distance. So they're like the lunge attacks. Now her DP in this stance is different. It's not necessarily DP, it's more of a counter style move. The light version, like the other version, it does not go as high as the other version, it's like lower. And this version doesn't have the armor attribute to it that the other ones have. One thing to note, you can be grabbed out of this. So you get no escape. So no matter what you can do, opponents can throw you out of it, because it's not actually invincible. It is just a DP. So if you get them at the right time, it's fine. But you'll get thrown if you try and DP in this stance. So it's a little bit weaker, but it's better in block string. So say if there's someone's left a gap, you'll go straight through. But yeah, and it is a good anti-air still. Like it's still like your serviceable anti-air. So you still have you still have like a good anti-air in this stance. You got the armored, the heavy enhanced version, exactly the same. I would stick to this version personally. I would not always. I mean, it depends. You want to get more damage, there's more hits, but if you do the medium version, it comes back quicker. So that's why I suggest using the medium versions over their enhanced versions. It also can be beaten out low. So it doesn't beat low attacks, so it only parries highs. And a good opponent will know this, so it's something to be aware of. So one thing I try and do when I'm in this stance, you can attribute this to all stances. I should have said this before, but I'll say it now because I'm in this stance. This is the one I tend to use it more. When you are using any kind of special moves, that's when you want to be changing your stance. So here I've done this thing where they've blocked my my DP. They haven't punished me this time, but they've blocked me. But I noticed this, so I'm like, well, okay, well, I better get back into my other stance, because at least I then have another defensive option. So now I'm here, I'm in DawnFly. See, the cooldowns are completely different, they're not linked at all. So now I actually have my invincible reversal back. So like, and some opponents do not pay attention to this at all. So like, if you've done that, and you know, they might punish you, stuff like that, you know, it does, you know, you're probably going to eat a big combo punish if they're on point. But a lot of people don't realise that when you've changed, they don't have that awareness. You've now got another defensive mood in your stock. So I suggest between like most moves, you should get used to like changing. So even like this one. So now you've done this. Say they've blocked your FreeFlutter here. Yeah, okay, you're -8, you're in their face, but you're back now in this stance. So when you get put back on the defensive, they're going to put you in a hard knockdown. At least you have your DP. Whereas if you do FreeFlutter and then don't change, you have a worse DP in FreeFlutter than you do in DawnFly. It still works, like it's not terrible, but there is counterplay to it, more counterplay than there is to the invincible move. And yeah, you're on a back foot. But in this sense, at least like you can make the best out of a bad situation. And then you can end up back in DawnFly. So I think whenever I see something blocked that's unsafe, I'm instantly and I'm in FreeFlutter, I instantly go back into DawnFly, and because you can do that during the move. Like you can't change into DawnFly when you're on block, being pressured by the opponent, but you can do it when you're in the middle of moves. Even with moves, you can do it in stuff like that. So it doesn't have to be anything. So yeah, you should utilize the changes as much as you can. The DP is the one I use it the most, because when they block a DP, I'm like, well, okay, I now need to be ready to be punished and be put in a defensive situation. And ideally, you want to, like I said, DawnFly is your defensive stance anyway. So, because that you have, even though you have struggle mashing out of pressure, because this is slower, you do have the invincible move. So, and like I said, most people don't pay attention, which is quite nice. Ultimate version, just armored like the others, nothing too special. You get a hard knockdown, so it is pretty much just exactly the same as the DP version of Ultimate. Just pushes it, exact same distance, exact same plus frames. So the Ultimate attack is just, you know, just use it if you've run out of the enhanced version. That would be my advice to that. Okay, so the next move we're going to talk about is Crescent Moon, or the Cartwheel, or whatever you want to call it. She has two variants. She has one in the air, which I've gone over a little bit. I'll cover it again. And then she's got the one on the ground. They all have different kind of properties, but they're really good like throw baits. That's where I'd say that their main abilities kind of come into. So, for example, you can do your pressure, cartwheel. Now, you don't get a hell of a lot. That's the light version. So, if they don't block it, you're -21, so you can just continue pressure. And like I said, because this is so good at a far distance, being this far out for another character would be an issue. But for Narmaya, it doesn't matter so much. So, you can do this, knock them, and then go into that. Or you have the medium version, which goes over their head. Also a really good throw bait. So obviously you can frame trap them like you can with any other character in the game, but it's just nice to have another thing. Also, if you're in the corner and like the opponent has you cornered, it's obviously really good for getting out of the corner. Like you can be thrown out of it, someone can jump throw you, but it's worth noting that most opponents won't do that at first. Then you have the medium version. The medium version, sorry, the enhanced version. The enhanced version is probably the best one. So if you don't do anything and you do the enhanced version, you end up being +1. Now, most opponents can throw you out of this. You've got to be on point with like your button presses. But if you press forward, you jump over their head and you're +4, and then you can continue to press that. Obviously, +4 is much better than +1. It's fairly fast as well, and it's very like obscures what you're kind of doing and stuff. And it's this is not an overhead, unfortunately. I mean, I guess a plus on block overhead would be a bit silly, but it can cross opponents up if they're not using the block button or paying attention at the very least. You will be able to cross them up for doing it. You don't get much out of this. It just throws them onto the floor, but it is, you know, it's still good to have. It's better for like pressure resets, if anything. Then you got the ultimate version. Now this version, I've gone over it a little bit briefly. This version is the one you kind of want to use to beat projectiles. So you just go straight over projectiles. Yeah, and you get fairly decent damage. Like once Narmaya has 58 health, and you've ended up at this side of the screen, 50 meter, sorry, you can just literally just like go straight through projectiles, and it's invincible. Not on startup, but it's invincible through travel and stuff. So it's very decent at dealing with that. And also, as I mentioned before, the air cartwheel ultimate is the same. It's different though in the sense that it's not good at dealing with projectiles. It's good at dealing with like baiting a jump in. So you're going for a jump in, like that, and whatever. But then say they get an anti-air, you can do this. Confusing, and then you get a full combo off it. So it's pretty decent. So I've gone briefly into her air attacks. Like I was coming before, they all have different kind of properties and stuff like that. So this, the light version sends you full screen, the medium version sends them flying back, but you fall back in place, and then the heavy version is one you want to kind of use in enhanced and stuff like that. Well, when you're in the corner, it's quite good for like stopping opponents and getting a full combo. And then obviously we just went over the enhanced version. This version's great for getting anti-air baits. But yeah, that pretty much covers her FreeFlutter moves. I'll go into what you're meant to be doing, how to put it all together in the next section. I'll start with DawnFly again. But they are the kind of properties the moves kind of present and stuff like that. Alright, so what do we do at the beginning of the match when we're in DawnFly? Because DawnFly is the one we start in. I ran over it a little bit briefly when I was talking about projectiles, but you basically want to kind of... most people at the beginning of the round are going to expect this move. They'll try and jump over it, or they'll walk back a bit, depending on what character they are. I would say this is a pretty good round start move, but because everyone expects it, they're very unlikely to, you know, they'll probably try and do it. You can roll it, so that is an ability, so people can punish this. So this round start isn't terrible. I'd say use it every now and then. It's still a worthy thing. It's just a good way to check your opponent at the beginning of the match, get a life lead. Only a little one, but it's just quite nice. So what I'd actually suggest you do at the beginning of the match is actually walk back a little bit. You are slightly out of the range normally when you walk back a little bit, but that's totally fine. The idea of this is if the opponent jumps, you're literally waiting for them to come down, so then you can either sweep their feet or anti-air them. So the main game plan for DawnFly at the start is to walk back, forward, walk back and forward, and then just kind of check them with this. The idea is to make them impatient and come in towards you. You don't really want to be doing too much of the work in this stance. Your offense in this stance is a bit weaker than FreeFlutter. So at the beginning of the match, try build up meter and focus on anti-airing and using this. They just mix between these two. Anti-air. Don't even get too fancy with your anti-air. You can if you want, but you kind of want to slowly push them towards the corner. That is like your main goal with DawnFly. So when you kind of have them in the corner, and you know they're because well, some opponents are very good at getting around Narmaya's offense, but if you're good enough with it, it's fairly decent to deal with. Once you've got them in the corner, you'll be able to start pushing your offense, and then going from DawnFly into FreeFlutter. And then you've put them in, you can do a better combo than I just did, but then your idea is to kind of get them in the corner and get into FreeFlutter. So that is literally the game plan with DawnFly. Push them out, anti-air, push them to the corner. And there are some combos you can do to kind of get closer into the corner, which I'll go into next. But the main idea of DawnFly is to basically space out your opponent, anti-air them, and then switch into FreeFlutter whenever you can. Alright, so now we're in FreeFlutter, we've moved the opponent to the corner, so the game plan for this stance is going to all be about pressure. Now, Narmaya doesn't have like anything super oppressive in terms of mix. It's mostly just all about plus frames and trying to strike through the opponent. I find because this is so plus, it's a lot easier to throw people off this. I don't know why, like it just feels like a lot better. So you will kind of want to mix between striking and throwing. And obviously, like I said, this move is incredibly good. So you can just do stuff like that, and then you're like +2 from this distance, go back in for a 6-6L, do this. And then just basically wait every now and then, see if they'll DP, maybe going for a strike. The whole point of this is just to make them as scared as you possibly can. And then every now and then, if you think they're going to try throw you, for example, you can then do this as a throw bait. Like I said, it's +1, so it is still punishable. Well, not punishable, sorry. They can grab you out of it. See, like, even though you're plus, they can still grab you, which is like quite frustrating. Even when you like mash it, you're not doing too great. And the reason this is also kind of awful because I said DP, which you would normally do in her other stance, isn't invincible. So one thing you can do, which is quite cool, if you think they're going to try grab you, because like I said, it's like you can get that. That's your best case scenario, and you're obviously worse off. Even when you try and grab them, you can't. But one thing you can do is you can do cartwheel, and then swap into your DP while you're in mid cartwheel, and then you can do your DP, because that one will beat throws. So you know, you think, oh, if I'm plus, I should win, and because throws come out super fast in this game, 4 frames, I think that's the reason why it interrupts it, which is a little bit frustrating. So you can trade with a throw, but that's the best you'll get in that situation. There's no real way to kind of space it out. If you try and walk back, you'll still get thing. You could probably try and jump. Jumping's an option. But in general, this should really be used more as a throw bait than anything. And you're plus 34, so you can continue the pressure. This kind of you don't get too much reward off it. You're better off going for like a strike after your plus move to basically establish like the threat that this offers. And so you can obviously get quite a lot of damage off of a throw bait. So that's mainly what you're going to be doing with Narmaya in this stance. Obviously a lot of 6-6L. It's much weaker in the mid screen. Something to bear now of. You can obviously also throw this in, throw the ultimate attack in as a throw bait. That is also an option. And like I said, you get fairly good damage out of this. One. See, it's not as good as the Super Ender, but that is just because you start with that move. There is another thing you can do, which is a little bit trickier to do, but you can basically bait throws with the air version of Cartwheel. You can get something fancy. You can probably do a better combo than that. It doesn't involve super. But you can bait throws with that. It's a little bit tricky to do. You have to do a technique called the TK, which essentially just means you do your ground move, and then you have to press up and then activate the move. So it kind of looks like that. However, I do recommend just pressing up, down, and then special. And the reason I do it is just like a lot more consistent. Like TKing is kind of hard to do, and it makes the combo more harder and frustrating. But if you just press up and forward, you do like your plus move and then do that, and if it hits, then you'll get a throw bait. But I would do up, forward, and then the move, because I just think it is a much better option. It's just much easier to do. TKing is, if you want to do it, but it's much harder to do. So it's just down to do the move, but then you wait and you get in the air. And see, I'm messing it up now. There you go. So it's just, yeah, I just think it's easier to just use the simplified inputs, especially for this. Like, don't feel bad about doing it. Like I do, because the damage mitigation really isn't worth mentioning. Like, you might as well just make it more consistent. Press just do up and then just do the down special in the air. And that's really kind of it for FreeFlutter. It's basically just like stay on them, do the pressure, try and like strike throw, do that, or keep 6XL in and stuff like that. And then like you can confirm into all your combos and stuff like that. So yeah, that's the two stances kind of game plan.
Marvelous. Marvelous.
So yeah, that kind of covers it for the Narmaya guide. This video is a bit longer. It took a bit more time to make. And Narmaya is a little bit more in depth than other characters I've played. So I kind of wanted to try and cover as much as I could. I do hope it helps people with like if you want to learn Narmaya. She is a lot of fun. And I think she's one of the stronger characters in the game, like I was saying. So she's definitely worth your time. But yeah, I think 2B comes out soon, so the next kind of sets of videos are probably going to be a lot to do with her. I'm very excited for 2B to come. I was going to look at some other characters, but I think I'll just play Narmaya till she comes out, and then I'll focus on her. So expect content from 2B and guides and all that in the future. But yeah, if you've made it this far in the video, thanks for watching all of it. That's very kind. Yeah, if you could give the video a like and a share, just so other people can get to it and stuff. Like more people. Namaya's already pretty popular, but I think more people should give her a go. And if this guide helps them get there, then I think that's it's done its job. Yeah, if you want to see more content like this in the future, drop us a subscribe if you're feeling like it, and that's it really. But yeah, so on to the next one. Take care, pigs.